shit. I want to kick today off. It's crazy that we only met 2 days ago. A lot of shit has gone down since, bro.
It always does. It always does.
Always, bro. Filmmaking is, oh, there we go. Man, your perspective.
Me? I know. I liked it when it's zoomed out. You noticed that, didn't
you? Yeah, dude. It's wild.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah. For our listeners here. So I've realized really, like, in the last 2 days, filmmaking and producing and financing and all the shit that goes into making movies, it's a collaborative medium. You can't be the one man running up the fucking hill. If you think you can make a movie on your own, like from getting investments to shooting to releasing, all that shit, you're fucked. You're fucked, dude. And I'm someone who loves control. That's why I'm a director. But I need people in my court who are down. Like, energy and bouncing energy off other people is the most important thing when it comes to doing something impossible, like getting a film off the ground. And I'll give you specifics of what I'm even talking about. But first,
it seems like it's like a personal situation you're getting.
Yeah, very personal. I want to touch on. I think that this was live on one of our pods where we were hyping each other up to do a feature. Was that recorded? I'm pretty sure it was. When we were like, why the fuck have we not? We had a script. Two of our close friends, Sophia, she wrote this script that
they will remain unnamed, but their names are Sophia.
Their names are Sophia. Yes. We were going to work on it, I think like a couple years ago or something. Never ended up getting off the ground. It was a dead project. Still hasn't gotten off the ground. But the point is, when you brought that up like one time and we started talking about it, we started feeding off of each other's energy. We started hyping it up. And then it became a real like live thing again. Maybe only for like a week or so. But it still became like this live thing. And the reason why I bring that up, there are people, Ken's one of them, Ken, another buddy of mine, Brian. There are people that are go-getters that are in my court that we have always talked about collabing on stuff, but the actual switch of like, let's meet regularly, let's hold each other accountable, let's think about structuring this concept around a budget that we can actually get something off the ground. It's a completely different thing than being a one-man band, which I've been like almost throughout the entirety of the last 3 years. Here's the thing, Ken in my corner, Ken, hope you're watching this. He has been extremely helpful, and he's helped push along so many projects that I would never have been able to get off the ground. When it came to the first initial films of Burnt Mill, it was all me. And there are some that I've struck out on my own too. But it's not a realistic thing when you're talking about features, when you're talking about getting the financials in place. Like, if you really think that you're going to be able to secure all that shit, get distribution, all that fucking shit, and come out with a great movie, you're delusional. You're not going to be able to do it. Why would you not work with other people? Why would you not have this be like a collaborative medium? That's what it is. That's what filmmaking is. And so that's the biggest like kind of light switch for me in the past couple of days, because just even thinking about being in pitch meetings with investors, approaching distributors, approaching talent to be attached to these projects. If you have someone in your court who's just as passionate about the genre, who you link up creatively on, who has really good business sense, it's the same thing with you and Tanner, in Valley Mentality. It's like it's a different type of energy when you have a couple people bouncing stuff off each other.
Or Dimitri and I in the British show, or my dad.
100%. Yeah.
But, all right. I love the grand declaration. Came in hot today.
That's it, bro. Came in very hot.
What in your life is occurring to which makes you put your foot down and say, you know what? A lot of these people are coming out there trying to make their own things. Those crazy sons of guns. You need a team, because clearly I do. What's making you do that?
This is a switch up.
That happened in the last 2 days.
Last 2 days, bro. Maybe even today. It's the realization that I'm not making a full-time living at this. And I could be. It's just a matter of organization. It's just a matter of putting a clause into a contract saying that I get this percent of the film or that I get this much up front. It's just a matter of linking up with someone else and then approaching an investor together. Like, the money's out there. It's like this. I think I told this to you before, but this industry, the finances of this industry is like a giant money pit. And
for those people that are listening and they can't see Jacob right now, he's making a pyramid scheme with his hands.
Exactly. And I'm at the top.
This industry is one big
join.
triangle. Let's call it pyramid.
It's only a 10K buy-in, bro. It's a great deal. But yeah,
you just got to give us the money.
This is the pit. Yeah, but dude, it's basically like a money pit where all of us poor motherfuckers who aren't making a living off of this shit are staring around just looking at the money pit and not knowing how the fuck to reach in. Every once in a while, you're going to get someone who, you know, slides in past everyone and reaches in. Every once in a while, you're going to get someone with a bulldozer who fucking comes in and takes like half of the money. The money pit always grows and it always levels back to where it was at. But everyone around the pit just stares looking at it. They have no idea how the fuck to get it. But you get someone in your court who knows, and both of you vibe, and you've got this energy bouncing back and forth, you can get that money.
Who are you talking to that's like meeting with money people and everyone, and then that you're saying you need to hook up with them and put your name on it?
2 people, Ken, who you know, and Brian, who's this guy that I met at Blumhouse.
Brian De Palma, the director of Scarface?
You got it, bro. I didn't want to name drop.
No, you never do.
But yeah, dude, so that's where I'm at. It's removing myself from that one-man band kind of mindset. Even in the last, you know, few months, I've collabed with Ken on some shorts, but we both have like things going on, whatever. My schedule was fucking crazy. Like, I wanted to come out with a short film every week for the last like 3 years. And so I had to do a lot of shit on my own. But I finally removed myself from that situation and looked around, and it's like, I've graduated beyond this fucking slog of just making shorts for the sake of making shorts. It made me feel productive, but it wasn't moving me forward in my career. And so the next step is features, because you can actually make a fucking living off of features. And it's linking up with people who you vibe with creatively and they have an understanding of the business, and you go in together. That's all you need. Consistency and accountability.
Yeah, I mean, I find the whole thing a little funny.
Why's that?
Like, it beckons me to like prompt you on it, just because to me it's always been obvious. Like, if you can find like-minded people to create a team with, then of course it's gonna help you. But it depends on the person, and you know, some people work a lot better by themselves. But bro, like, yeah, if someone can bring in a financier or can connect you with the studio or whatever that connect might be, like, it's a given, bro.
100%. And you don't even need to connect. It could be 2 people who like anyone can figure this shit out. It's just a matter of like looking it up, hyping each other up, having the right energy and mindset, and then you can fucking do it.
Yeah, everything that I did, I wanted to have good partners. I never could find it. You came to me with a podcast, but I wanted to do a podcast long before then. Like, it was like a dream of mine. Yeah. I wanted a writing partner. No one was really down to be a writing partner, really, that was like qualified. I wanted a great acting class. Couldn't find a great acting class that felt like it was like really satisfying and like inspiring, until I did. And then all these things, dude, it's impossible to find people. And that's one of the biggest things experience brings, but also I made it a goal of mine to find all of these things. And I was very fortunate to do that. My dad still, I don't think he's ever really had a great writing partner.
Yeah.
And yet my dad is an example of someone who gets shit done even without the partners. He wants them, but he does it anyway. He finds the financiers himself. He finds the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me about the Vegas film. Was that basically him?
Yeah.
What percentage of that was him just
Yeah.
approaching people and getting it done?
It's all him.
That's all him.
His brother.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a genius business person in some ways, and then in other ways, he's not as traditionally experienced with doing deals and stuff maybe as other business people. But you know, he's like, my mom always makes fun of him as a business person, but you know, like, he met the financier at a poker tournament, Adam Weinrob, and they're good friends now, and they love making movies together. He brought on the producer that was kind of more friends with my uncle. You know, like anything, it's never just you. Like, you have to hire these people, and maybe you bring on a producer that becomes a team with you and stuff. And even when you get all these things, it does not mean that you're going to make fucking money. My dad's talking about this pickleball movie now, and he's like, you know, we'll make money on it. I'm just thinking to myself, how the hell are you going to ensure that you make money? Because to me, when you have a financier, that money shouldn't go towards the filmmakers necessarily. It should go towards getting it seen. And the movie business is set up in a way at the moment where something gets seen, but doesn't mean you're going to make money on it. It's just like so awkward.
Yeah. I mean, I'm shocked that he was basically a one-man band for that film. I think that that's like a unicorn type situation. And even so, like you mentioned, like with contracts and whatever his weak spot might be, everyone has their weak spots. And the whole process from inception of idea to release and distribution and promotion, all that kind of shit, like, there's no one human being that is extremely skilled at every single facet of that. So if you can link up with someone where you take their strengths, they take your strengths, it's like that's then the powerhouse that can get shit done.
Gotta complement each other. I mean, one of my goals now is to make, you know, my clothing brand successful, and I want to be a consultant / CEO for other brands. And I think the biggest thing that brings is you make a real network. I want to be someone that people can come to me because I know experts in a lot of different fields. I just think you have to do it. It's not easy, but that's something I like. People I think a successful team of people that complement each other well, working together, making money is like the best thing.
Yeah, dude. Collaboration is huge. It's getting rid of that ego of like, yeah, like, no, like, fuck it, like, I can do every, like, dude, I was at this place where I was just taking my camcorder by myself, my fucking camcorder. I figured out sound by myself. I was like, fuck it, like, I got it. And it's like, yeah, you could do that shit, but when it comes to scaling up, okay, repping Dude,
sorry to just
build
bust
his
this out
value
on you.
mentality subtle promo.
Gotta bring it out, baby. Gotta let the people see. Speaking of stuff that you do all on your own,
One of the biggest things with like not having connections at first with value mentality, I didn't really know great designers or anything, was I ended up doing it on my own. And learning design, learning photography, making my own shit. And you do, like, that's something else I was gonna say. And that's kind of what I was laughing to, is because, like, dude, most people aren't able to do shit on their own. It's the opposite. Most people rely on other people, and they won't do it if they don't have other people to help them.
Yeah.
Or like a mentor. You know, everyone's so big about mentors these days, like, or a coach. Yeah, those things are nice. A lot of times you're not, you know, granted those though. And so, like, sometimes you just got to pull your fucking bootstraps up and do it on your own, and you'll become stronger for it.
It's true. And I think when you're drilling down to like specific tasks, yeah, there are things you got to learn on your own. But I think having someone in your court, it's like you and Tanner, bro. It's like bird's eye view type shit. You know what I mean? In terms of like, here's the brand. let's think about where we could play. Like, I don't know what conversations you have, but it's like it's a different kind of feeling than if it was just you in a funnel.
Totally. It took so much work of mine to be able to bring on Tanner. He like wasn't down. And then after he came on, he wouldn't even like, he was like allergic to talking about it for a year. Literally allergic. And so I made an exercise for myself. I said, you know what? I'm going to be passivist and like really just appreciate what he can bring to the table. He's the only person that's really been down to help me. I think he is creative and has all this stuff potentially. I'm gonna make it so easy for him. I'm not gonna take it personally. I'm not gonna be offended, but I'm gonna take it as an exercise and do everything strong that I can, make it perfect, and then go to him and make him just like put the cherry on top for everything. That's what it was like for a while.
Has it now leveled out to the place where it's more like a 50-50 kind of
No. Nope. He's got a short attention span of that stuff. He admitted it at one point. We had like a real powwow about it, and that's okay. Because he gets more excited as it gets more successful, and now it's like super successful, and he's like fired up about it.
Well, let's talk about like you mentioned the Dimitri writing stuff.
Yeah.
From the get, working with him, has that been like a 50-50 kind of you pick up each other's weakness and you're going for it? Has that always been the vibe? Because look, I've been in situations where I brought people on my team where it's like, okay, yeah, there are things that they can offer, but you're still like, basically pulling all of the weight. That's just a different scenario. And again, like it's in a different place now for Valiant Mentality, but it's such a rare scenario where you can approach a project with someone else and just energy wise, you're vibing off each other in such like an even type of split. And I haven't really experienced a lot. Like I've gotten that with these two guys, but that's it. Like I've been doing this for forever and I've worked with hundreds or if not thousands of people, and it's hard to find.
No, that's a very good point. And I feel like we do it well with the podcast.
Yeah, we do.
Naturally, I mean, granted, there's not too much of like homework to do with the podcast.
Right.
But like we're both, I would say, equally as enthusiastic about like doing it for the same reasons. Dimitri is also more good in that traditionally that he like once I brought him on, I brought him like a 20-page script or something for the British show, and then he was like heavy hitter, like in fact he was even more of the leader, facilitator. Like he would say, all right, let's go through it, here's our tasks, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, and I would say like, oh man, I do this, and then I would do it, and then we started having table reads and stuff, and he really pushed it in England.
Yeah.
Obviously I pushed it here. I brought on a producer. I introduced us to people, but like, there's people that come to mind are the Reno 911 creators, Thomas Lennon and the other guy who he's not as big of an actor, so his name's not as
what they
easy,
created,
but
or what
they created Reno 911 together. And then they also both wrote that book, How to Write Movies for Fun and Profit.
You fucking love, bro. You've mentioned that like every other pod. I have to read it. If it's made that much of an impact on you, like thinking about the profit of and business of it.
I literally can't point to anything more that people going into the creative world should read.
Yo, say the name.
It's so refreshing.
What's it called?
How to Write Movies for Fun and Profit.
Okay. Cool. Yo,
by the way, my Lifetime movie should have just come out like right now.
Wait, your movie's coming out.
I can't really find it.
You're breaking a little bit.
It's supposed to. It's at 8:00. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's supposed to come out at like 8 tonight.
Damn, dude, that's fucking huge. I'm shocked that you're not watching it right now. We should We should wrap this up.
I appreciate it. Just wrap it up immediately. We can't find it. My mom can't find it on. I
Oh,
mean,
for real? That's
the
weird.
series is on like Amazon and stuff, but it just hasn't. And the first 2 episodes are there, but it hasn't come out the third episode yet, even though it says it is.
Damn.
Anyway,
Well,
yeah,
remind our
that's
listeners
exciting.
what it's called.
Oh yeah. So I did a movie. It's called As Luck Would Have It. Episode 3. What?
It's a great title.
Thank you. Not that I came up with it, but it's a 3-part series about this detective named Gabby Luck, to play on her name. And in the 3rd episode, she's doing a mystery, solving a mystery that her best friend is wrapped up in, which is her real estate agent got killed.
Mm.
And I played the son of the best friend. And there's footage of me maybe getting a little edgy, a little confrontational with the real estate agent that died. In fact, the
That's the
person that
side
killed
we
him
wanna
may
see.
or may not be me.
Oh shit. That's the side we want to see, bro. We love you being all maniacal and serial killer in red dress. So that's what we like.
Dude, very good point. Not the most common thing. It's fun for your boy to get a little freaky.
It's my favorite, dude. I think that's what you're best in. Strange enough, because I know that your go-to is like, let me do like impressions, and which is fucking great and hilarious, right? But
Totally.
like, there's
Totally.
something about that like groundedness and like
Thanks,
the
man.
look in your eye. I fucking love it. By the way, another example of 2 guys that just like energetically they fucking hype each other up. The South Park guys, dude. Trey Parker, Matt Stone.
Totally. Yeah. And by the way, have you seen the documentary on them
No,
called 7 Days to Air?
no,
You're
dude.
kidding.
I'm gonna check that out.
Look it up on YouTube, like put it on another window right now.
Correction, 6
Watch it
days
after this
to air.
because
6 days.
6 days there. Yeah. I was messed up the days. I thought it was 6 days. It's the week in the life of making an episode of South Park. And they
Ooh.
show how they make the episode the human Sentai pad, which is like because they didn't read the Apple contract, they sign away their life to be hooked up to another human being by Apple as an experiment. And Kyle gets hooked up to a Japanese guy who's like, "Oh no, I'm so hungry. What do I eat, guys? Should I eat the cuttlefish and asparagus or the vanilla pesto?" And they show them doing the voices for it, dude. It's so funny and like inspiring. That's one of the most inspiring things to me when I like,
bet.
feel a little dead. I look at that. And Bill Hader's in the writers' room. They show the writers' room, them coming up with like the episode.
Dude,
It's really, really inspiring.
that's wild. So they have their
I might
kind of,
watch it.
what's that?
What? I might watch it after this too.
Yeah, dude. They're kind of like SNL. They have like 6 days to do an episode, or is that just that show?
Good, very astute observation there. Yeah, it's in the same kind of pressure cooker way as SNL. They brought it upon themselves, sort of. I think they started doing it, and then Comedy Central kept saying like, "Whoa, can you do it faster? Can you do it faster?" And they're just like, "Yeah, we'll get more money, whatever." But during the season, so they do drive themselves crazy, but
Dude,
they kind of love it.
bro, and it's also a different thing. Like, yeah, SNL is still crazy, but like that's live shit. They have to make an entire animation in 6 fucking days.
They compare it like to Family Guy or The Simpsons, and they're like, those shows literally have like a year to do that stuff. And they're doing the same thing, but they're doing it like they show the editors like staying up all night. The arts people like just putting it together. It's so cool how they do it.
Dude, there's something about that kind of energy, like besides having someone you can just vibe with, of that kind of a schedule. It's crazy, dude. It's like that's why I loved releasing on YouTube every week because it was fucking wild. But like
Yeah.
I was able to squeeze out stuff that I never would have created if I didn't have that pressure cooker.
Pressure cooker. Yeah, you've already experienced that, and you have that eye of the tiger to like put stuff on your back. My dad's the same way. I'm the same way. Love the idea of like throwing yourself into the cooker, shaking it up, see what comes out on the other side, like see what you can come up with when you're you know, strung out and can't think anymore, and you're working with talented people and you really are invested. Like that's the best stuff.
Dude, the reason why Stephen King has written so much shit is because he only gives himself 3 months to complete a novel, a fucking novel. And he spends, I think it's like 4 hours a day, but that time adds up, dude. And there's something about that, like, and he says, like, if he's tried writing novels in longer, spans of time, and it like loses a type of energy. You lose some kind of a thing. And the best scripts, the best screenplays that I've written have been in, like 20 days to first draft. It hasn't been like I've been sitting on a screenplay for 6 months and then it's this like solid thing. It usually works the other way.
Same thing like when my dad and I come up with stuff, like it'll be like over a weekend or something.
Yeah.
Granted, that's not like on paper, but no, I think that's so cool. Like, yeah, there's so many duos out there, like great teams of people. I don't know, who are some of the best? I still think it's a dream to be in a great writer's room.
As a writer?
Yeah. Whether it's writer, showrunner.
Yeah.
But, you're contributing ideas, you're coming up with ideas. I'd love to be the Bill Hader guy that comes in, might not even get credit, but just shoots the shit.
Yeah, dude. It would be wild to be a showrunner. Do you know like how much shit they got to do? It's like way beyond what a director has to do for a feature. Like you're making all the decisions. No, it is, bro. You got to go from like you're there for every single stage of it. Yeah, a director for a feature is there for stuff too, but like a showrunner, like the amount of content is just way more. It's like you're making like, it depends what type of show you're making, but if it's like a drama, they're what, like 47 minutes an episode? How many episodes a season? Like 10 for like a limited series type thing?
Yeah, there's more coverage probably for a TV show than a movie these days. And it's an hour-long show. And the showrun, but the whole thing was, they say in films it's the director, in TV it's the writer / showrunner that it's all about, because the writer showrunner in TV is the guy calling all the shots. They're a producer as well as the creator of everything. But they do have help with other writers and stuff. In movies, the director literally takes the script and brings it into whatever the hell they want for the most part, unless they have a producer overriding that. Yeah. And so they end up, it's kind of similar on a lot of levels, but yeah, to your point, showrunner acts as a producer, executive producer, and even has more final cut.
Yeah, dude, final cut is a hard thing to get as a director, like of a feature. And that's what a lot of like an audience doesn't really understand. Like if just a normal person.
Hey, bud, doing the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
The roommate can jump in
next week.
He'll have a formal time another time.
Gotta use the restroom real quick.
Oh, easy way
Live
out.
and direct.
Hey, what's up, brother?
How we doing?
So yeah, dude, like when it comes to final cut stuff, like an audience thinks, yeah, like a director, like this is their movie that they wanted to make. Bro, like a director will deliver the final cut and that could be way off base for like whatever the fuck the producers
want. Producers.
It's like,
well, that's, first of all, that's not technically, I'm going to call you on your film terminology there. Final cut is what actually ends up getting seen. by the audience. It's not the
Director's
director.
cut.
That's the director's cut.
Thanks
Man,
for the
isn't it so
correction.
fun knowing
That's
stuff?
right. Yeah.
It's Hollywood, baby.
Yeah, got to get your terminology. But yeah, dude, that's one thing though. Like people think it's like the director's movie, but a lot of the time it's not. And I can't imagine what it would be like being in like a studio situation.
More commonly, what's mistaken is like, how do they write that much of a dud? But it's not the writer's movie; it's the director's movie. And then yeah, then it comes down to the producers too,
Do you think that
mainly.
I feel like the brunt of mistakes almost always lands on the director and or the actors? Do you agree? Like if it's bad writing, I feel like people would be like, man, like that director sucked ass. Like that was a shitty movie. Like they don't even really think about, oh, well, it was a shitty writer. Like it's more like,
Well, like
guy's movie.
Thomas Lennon, speaking of which, in their book, they bring up that they wrote Herbie Fully Loaded, the Lindsay Lohan movie about the car. It's one of the biggest box office bombs. And they did Taxi with Queen Latifah and Jimmy Fallon. Two massive bombs. Probably ruined Jimmy Fallon's movie career single-handedly.
You're trying to tell me that Herbie Fully Loaded was a bomb?
Yeah. I know.
It's wild.
You know it.
That was a throwback. Yeah.
Right? Well, probably put Lindsay Lohan on drugs. And no, they're saying Herbie Fully Loaded had so many chefs in the kitchen. The script that they originally wrote was like 1/8 what finally ended up going out there.
Dude.
And yet they get a credit for it.
Bro.
And they're just like, fuck us.
Dude, the thing about development execs, like, look, there's some great ones out there, right? But for the most part, that's their job. So they feel like they need to have a contribution, regardless if the script actually needs a contribution. Yep. So they're going to give notes, even if it doesn't need notes. And that's the hardest fucking thing. It's just because that's part of their job description. They want to look good in front of their boss, and it has nothing to do with the quality of the project.
Yeah, their biggest advice, again, why it's like the best book, is so practical. They're like, a good writer is someone that takes in the notes. It doesn't just do them for the sake of doing them, but figures out how to genuinely make it better and incorporates the notes. But that being said, like, yeah, it's tough. Making studio movies and stuff, it's no easy feat. It's so many shitty ones. So many shitty indie movies too, though.
Yeah, there are pros and cons to both situations. The best situation you can be in is that you're at such a level where you're on a studio project and you get final cut and fucking everything because you're at such a level. And you're the reason why that movie's being funded. That's the spot you want to be.
Yeah. For sure.
Dude, the thing,
I mean,
when you're a name, the amount of power that you're gonna have, you can use like to, you know, for good or evil, is you're the reason why that film was bankrolled. Like when you're on that set, you can, like, if you just decide not to work one day, they can't really do shit because of, and a lot of people like have, like, they know that, you know what I mean? Like a piece of talent is like the final like secret sauce when it comes to getting something off the ground. It's just wild to me. Like, even thinking about being in a director's position before I'm a name, if I have a name talent in my shit, the amount of control of how they could shift the waves of this thing is fucking wild. Like, that's a wild card that you just can't control.
It's a pie, and that's one piece of the pie that does count for a lot, for sure. Depends on where all the power is. Like, if there's a big director, then they're gonna get the biggest set.
Yeah.
There's a big look. If Martin Scorsese comes on a small thing and it's like executive produced by Martin Scorsese, he might be like, "Oh, I want this actor to be in it. I want this writer. I want this, and this," and then he gets that, even without having to show up one day.
Right. It's wild. That's part of the reason why I like horror stuff, because for the most part, when you're putting a package together, it is the name of the director that usually matters more than the actor. Because you can get a film like a horror film that does really well, and it's not dependent on talent.
It's funny. And like in the same way, my cousin who used to be a writer, now he does real estate, he just telling me the other day how he's always talking to these like big shots, and I'm like, man, how do you get in with them? Like if you don't know him, he's like, what do you mean? It's because I have deals. They got to look at me when I have deals. I'm like, that's right. Money talks. They don't give a shit how influential you are or whatever. It's like equalized playing field because in business, because literally all that matters is the money. And he's like, yeah, really refreshing. No one gives a shit. It's not like high school, like who's got the power, who got this, that.
Right.
I mean, there is something awesome about that.
Yeah, dude. And as your reputation starts to climb up the echelon of Hollywood, it's like that's what that is. That's what that buys you. It's just that extra creative control. It's that ability to pick and choose the projects you want to do. This shit gets easier the longer you're in it and the higher up you climb. It's like this is the point. And the reason why I started out, why I came in hot with that stuff with, bouncing off of someone else, is because that's the stage that we're at right now. In order to get to that next place, at least like on my end, like acting's a little different, but for me to get like projects off the ground, you got to have those people on the same level in your court and you just rise together. But this is the hardest spot when you're, behind that fence peeking over.
Yeah, I mean, I think at every stage, a good product is a good product. And it's like, how do you get there? The pros of where we're at right now is like, we can make something that's really, really good. You have no one telling you that you can't do it.
True. And dude, a lot of the time constraints actually end up working for you. Like I've seen so many films, at least like look in my space, I've seen so many horror films that they threw the whole kitchen sink, like all the studio money at the thing. They had all the special effects, all this kind of shit.
Not
And
better.
shitty movie. Like the story wasn't there. And so like what's the point? So yeah, that is something that we do have. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought about the other day that like when I'm older, I'm gonna look back and say, oh, I was super young. I had no one holding me back. I could have made anything I wanted, like anything awesome.
100%, bro. We'll be like, those were the golden years. We'll be looking at this podcast, being like,
yeah, like, also like the advice I give like up and coming people is like make your own stuff. And I'll be thinking like, well, did I have any like big ideas at that age? And already, I mean, I would say just the fact that I did like a clothing brand, that was a big idea of mine. And then yeah, as far as like movie wise, yeah, I did one with my dad already. I think that was pretty bold. There we go.
nah, bro, always a pleasure. Lifetime, what's the name?
As luck would